Okay. Okay, check, check, check. Can you hear me? Я уже говорю, меня не слышно? Проверка звука. Проверка звука, проверка звука. Так, еще раз проверка звука. Солнышко, меня слышно? Ага. Нет, не увидела, куда там. Открыла, вот, групп-чат, и здесь видно, ничего не видно. Так, а слышно там звук?
Да, да.
А, все слышно, да? А ну-ка, напиши мне еще раз, чтобы я просто увидела. Спасибо большое. Okay, checklist. Okay, we've got everything. Okay, so I think that we can start. I have only one, I will ask you for one favor. If we have any problems, for example, you don't hear me or you don't see me, or if you have any questions about the material that I'm going to talk about, please let me know in chat so I can answer all of the questions that you've got so far. Okay, so we will talk today with you about technologies in teaching. Actually, there is such thing as digital pedagogy, and you should understand that if we talk about digital pedagogy, a lot of people think that it is using technology in teaching and while teaching. Yes, that is, but you should be aware that it's not only using technology, but thoughtfully using these devices and these technological opportunities. You don't have to overwhelm your students with technology, and you have to choose when to use something and when not to use technology, when it's better to use like old-fashioned, old-school way, okay? So we will have a look with you today at different applications, websites that you might use together with your students, and also in other technologies or in other devices that can be used at home by the students or also during your class. So we will start with the first website, which is called Quizlet. I suppose you have already used it. Maybe some of you have already used it. So let's have a look at what that is and what we can do with that. Let me share my screen. So over here, that is the website, which is called Quizlet.com, where you can create different classes. And in each of the class, you can create different words. This website you can use for working with vocabulary. Let's have a look at one of my classes, which is elementary level. You can see that here I've got for them different sets of words that we have learned with them. Let's have a look at one of the sets, which is called appearance. Over here, you can see that we have with them words that we have learned, and it can be the definition or a picture that matches the word. And here we've got basically all of the words. What if I need to add more words? All we need to do is click add a term. We will have with you add a card. And let's imagine that I need to enter the words car over there. Oh, I do have this car already, sorry. Let it be here. Over here, I have an option what I can do. First of all, I can add a definition. Sometimes I need to write a definition. Sometimes I already have a definition. Sometimes I don't need a definition because I have actual pictures that I can choose from. In this case, for example, I will choose this picture because it looks quite good. Let's move on. If I need to add, for example, the word, which word we can use here, for example, the word wig. Again, I can click over here. Okay. First of all, we have definition. For example, false hair. Quite good definition is for me. And we can also add a picture so that my students can see and they have this association with the picture, what that means. So you can see that to add a card or to add a word, it takes like 5-10 seconds, and you can choose what to add, either explanation or a picture. It's up to you. So what actually students can do with these words? When you create a set with words, you share it with your class. When you have a class, you will add students over there. For example, over here, I need to add, just a second, I will go to my class, elementary class, and I want to add more students over here. You can see that here we have a link that I will give to my students to join this class. When they join this class, they also have access to all of these sets. So they can go to any of the set, and they have different options what they can do with the words from the set. They can learn, they can have flip cards, they can practice their spelling, they can have a test, lots of options. Let's have a look at some of them. For example, I have cards. What it means is that I will have a definition. My task will be to recall what word that is, and then I can click here and check myself. The next word, I can see the definition, I'm sorry, not definition, but picture in this case. I recall the word, lines or wrinkles, I check myself, and go on. picture, week, I check myself. So students at home, that's what we usually do. Yes, they try to drill up the cards with the help, all the words with the help of the cards. They might download an application to their phone, and in this case, they will have application with all of these words. Also, they can choose anything that they want over here. They do enjoy the matching task, where they have different words, pictures, or definition, and their task is to match it all together. For example, over here I have hair, I move it here, it matches, it disappears. We have freckles, again, I can put it over here, it matches, it disappears, and so on and so forth. They practice on their own, they can time themselves how fast they do that, and they do enjoy having kind of battle competition, who is the fastest one in this task. Pay attention at what you can use at your class. First of all, we have over here a test. When we talk about tests, pay attention that we have here different options what we can write. For example, here I have 20 questions out of 24. Here I have different types of questions. I can have the type when they have to write the word, or to match, or multiple choice, or true, false. I can choose which ones I want. For example, I just want them to write each of the words. I create this new test, and I can see that here all the words, they will have to write the word for definition or for the picture. Pay attention that you can click here, print, and in this case, you can print the test for them to give, for example, as a warm-up or the home task or whatever you want. Also, one more thing that you can do with Quizlet is this option, which is live. If you click live, it means that you can play this game with your students in your class. For example, we have two options when they have definition and they need to choose a term, or they have a word and they need to choose a definition. My favorite one is when they have a word and they need to choose a definition. So let's try this one as well. Over here, you can see that we have the number, that is the code of the students, the code of our game. You ask your student to go to the website Quizlet.live and ask them to enter this code. Pay attention that you will need 4+ students. They used to have 6+, but they have decided to change it, and so we have 4+. So when students join the game, they will be able to have kind of competition. They will be given a word, 4 kinds of definitions. They need to choose which one is correct, or vice versa. They have a definition, they have different options of the word, and they need to choose which one is correct. So that is the option that you will be able to use with your students at the class. So guys, when you get to this website, please click to different options what we have there, see how it works. I think you will figure it out on your own. One more thing that I wanted to tell you about Quizlet is that we have here such thing as diagrams. What it means is the following. Here you might add a picture, for example, this one with my elementary level, and here we have different words hidden. And when I point to the word, first aid kit, headphones, and we have toiletries, and so on and so forth. So your students on your own at home can also work with these pictures, and they also can learn spelling, matching, learning, and also we have option live. So please try it with your students in your classes, okay? So as for the pictures, there are different options what you can do. First of all, you can choose the picture and just upload it over here and create your own diagram. Sometimes we can just find the pictures. You can see that here the creator of the game, it's not me, not Tatiana, but somebody else. And in this case, what I need is click. For example, I need a diagram with topic transport. And I can see if somebody has already created these sets, this diagram, and I might already find something that I might use. Or you can just share with your, among your teachers, yes, the ones that you have already created. For example, you can see that we also have diagrams and so on and so forth. Okay, guys, that is the first website that I wanted to share with you. So generally, what you can use it for vocabulary. Your students can use it at home on their own for drilling and learning vocabulary. They have different options. They just need to know and try different options that they have there. Plus, you can use it at class with the help of live game, where they will be divided into teams and we play teams. Or it can be a test when you can print it and give to your students during the test or during the warm-up, or it's up to you, whichever activity you will choose. Plus, your students actually, they do everything at home, they practice at home, but you need to see how it goes. In this case, you can check the progress of your students. Let me show how you can do that. Start sharing. So, again, we will go to my elementary class. Here I have members. So I can click, for example, to NG. I can see which courses she has already passed, so elementary level. I can see what sets she has done. She has done different options, and I can actually see how many times she has passed this term. So in this case, the good thing is that actually you can but monitor what sets your students have tried, which activities they have tried. So for example, over here, I can see that she really enjoyed the matching type of activity, and she did it 17 times, yes. So you can actually see which students practice the words, how often they do that, and it'll help you maybe a little bit to have some data about which words your students have learned and which ones they know. Okay, that is one of the websites. I will remind you one more time that if you have any questions about anything that we're talking about today, please let me know and type the message to me. Okay, let's move on to the next site that I want to tell you about. Also, you can use it for vocabulary, but here you can have options to use it for vocabulary or for grammar. So the site is called Kahoot IT. And actually what you need is create kahoot.it. You will need to create an account over there, which is absolutely for free. And you can do different options, like different things over there. First of all, let's go to my Kahoot. I will show you what exactly I've got there. Just a second. So over here, we have a new website, create kahoot.it. Over here, I have sets that I have already created with my students. I can see how many times we have played it with that. Let me check. Yes, everything is okay. So, for example, I have here the set revision, and you can see that how many times I played it. First of all, let's have a look what I have there. So if we open the set, you can see that I've got here different questions. Sometimes they are with pictures, sometimes without pictures. For questions, I have different options. Only one option is correct, and it's clear that your students will need to choose one option that will be correct. What your students will need in this case? You create the game in your account at kahoot.it. Your students, they will need to go to a site which is called, just a second, I will show you what it's called. When you click play, you will see. So we have two options. It can be classic mode or team mode. If it is classic mode, it will be player versus player, so everybody will play on their own. If it is team mode, you can see that it is team versus team. In this case, it's shared device. A little life hack for you. It's sometimes I prefer to have team versus team, because in this case, if somebody doesn't have a phone or his internet is slow, you can just ask them to share the device, and that's it. That's why I will click right now to the team mode. The students will get in teams. They will be sharing their phones or tablets, whatever they have. And then over here, you can see that join at, just a second, join at kahoot.it. And that is the website where your students will have to go. And here we have a game pin. That is what they will add. Here will appear the names of the teams, plus the names of the students who actually joined the game. So over here, all the questions that you will have created, they will appear. You project it to the whiteboard so your students can see it on the whiteboard. What your students see is a little bit different. I will show you as an example, just a second. I will show you as an example what your students can see. That is why we remember that we have to go to, like, as your students, we have to go to website kahoot.it. Kahoot. Guys, if you want, you can also join right now. And the code is, let me show the code one more time. So the code is 2894909. Enter. So my team name will be, for example, Teddy. Beware that the naughty names are not allowed. So you can see that here I've got one team, for example, right now, that is the Teddy. If I have more teams, I will have more names over here. When everybody is ready, all you need to do is to click start, and then you will start the game. So your students, they will see all the questions on the screen, but on their mobile phones, they will see only the options that they can answer. So they will see only these four not squares, but actually boxes, and they will need to click the one which is the correct one. And they have to do it as fast as possible because they will get points for whether the answer is correct or not, plus how fast they answered actually this question. Oh, okay, cool. We have more people to join the game. We have stars, okay. 3 teams, nice. Just a second. Okay, so if we click start, you will see what your students will actually see on the screen on the projector frame. Thank you very much for joining. So your students, they will see the question and then 4 options to answer. Right now on your devices, you can see what students actually see. These are only 4 boxes. You need to click the box which is the correct one. So right now we can see 4 options, those, these, and that. And you can actually click the option that you think is the correct one. Do I share the screen? Yes, I do. When you click, you will see that how many students actually answered correctly. In my case, only I answered correctly. That's why we have here number 1. But actually, you will see how many people answered, and you will see which answer is correct one. Then you click next. You will have a scoreboard where you will see how who's in the first place. Then you will click next, and you will have question number 2. Again, first of all, we see the question when work. We have different options. You finish, you do finish, do you finish, are you finished? Again, students just click the answer that they think is correct. We already have 1 answer when, okay, we have 2 answers. We have 3 teams, so maybe we'll have the 3rd answer as well, cool. And when everybody is ready, we can see that 1 team answered incorrectly, 3 teams answered correctly. You can discuss with your students why, what was wrong, why this correct answer. Then you click again. You can see the scoreboard with all the points, and then you click next. Again, we can see the question that isn't your book. It is 4 possible answers. Mine, Anna, your. Pay attention what you can see on the actually on the screen. You can see the question. You can see the time that they have to answer the question. You can see how many answers we already have, and you can see actually the possible answers. So let me click the answer as well. And then when the time is over, you can see again how many students answered correctly, how many teams. You can discuss why that was the correct answer, and so on and so forth, and you can click to the next question. So guys, what I use this game for is both grammar and vocabulary. For grammar, I write here different options, what we can write. If it is vocabulary, I insert a picture over here, and they have different options what that is of the picture, so they can answer. It's a cool idea to combine both grammar and vocabulary. In this case, you will have time to revise everything that you have learned. I suppose I also have to answer right now. Oh, I have answered incorrectly. Shame on me. So, and so on and so forth. You go on playing with your students. I will end the quiz right now. We will see the result that stars, who are Lisa, Sasha, and Oleg, are the winners right now. And I also can see the results that we've got over here. So my students, they do love this game. Just a second. Because first of all, it is very, you have seen that it has got beautiful colors, very vivid, very interesting. Second, they work in teams, so they collaborate and they have to do it as fast as possible, so this competitive spirit is present over there, so they're trying to click as fast as possible. I will show you right now a few life hacks what you can do with this game. That's why, just a second. Here's Kahoot. So if you want to create a quiz, all you need to do is new Kahoot. Pay attention that we have here different options. Right now we have tried with the quiz, but you also have Jumble where they have to match different things. You can create a discussion, but the only thing with discussion that you can insert there only one question, which as for me not really convenient, but it has timing, so you will have some specific amount of time that your students will have for discussing the question. Plus, you can create a survey. You can try any of those at home, click, see what it is, and so on and so forth. When you create a quiz, you will see that here everything is written, what you need to do, title, question, you can add images, you can add videos in the questions, and so on and so forth. So I think at home you will figure out how it works and how to add the questions. Be a little bit imaginative with your questions. Try to combine both grammar and vocabulary, and I hope that your students will have fun playing that game. Okay, so basically we have covered with you already 2 games that you can use with the students at home and in class: Quizlet, home and class; Kahoot during the class for revision, for drilling, for anything you want, for both grammar and vocabulary. That's why let's move on to the next application or website that your students might use, or actually not your students, but you can use with the students at the class. That is going to be a website which is called Socrative, which resembles a little bit Kahoot, but I will tell you why sometimes I prefer Socrative more than Kahoot. That is why. All we need to do is to go to a website which is called Socrative.com. Again, you will need to create an account as a teacher. Pay attention, as a teacher, and it is for free, so don't worry. And over here, you will have with your students like different options. So first of all, that is where you go. But your students on their mobile devices, they will need to go to the website. I will ask those who are also with us watching the the webinar, please go to the website Socrative.com, and over there you will see something like that. You will need to go to the menu, and here you will need to choose student login. Socrative.com, student login. They will ask you for the room number. Let me show you what room number we have with you. Start share. So if you look over here, we have with you room number, which is Mironova. That is the room number that we need with you. So when you get over there, I will ask you to enter room number Mironova and join. Okay. So basically right now your students have something like that. And then you will have to enter your name. I will enter my name. Done. And that's it. And that's where the quiz starts. So the cool thing about the quiz is that, just a second. Oh, we have 3. We will have with you the quiz. New one, yes, sorry. For example, let's have world fact quiz. It's okay. Next. You pay attention that over here, after I choose the quiz, I have option like instant feedback. That is a great option because the students, they will get feedback while they are answering the questions. No, actually not while, but right after they answer the question. So we click start. At this moment, all of the students will see the questions that will appear. So we can see that right now the student Jack is on. Maybe we'll have a bit more students right now. We have Katy, okay. So basically, when people add over here one by one, these are your students who enter. There are different, while people are trying to add to the Quizlet. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. So anyway, so while people are adding, you will see the students. You have 2 options. how you can arrange actually this activity in the class. It can be kind of like mini test when each of the students works on his own with his own mobile device. The second option is you can arrange them in the teams. And in this case, you will have kind of quiz. You will show on the board the score, who is the fastest one. So again, you can try any of them and you will see how it works. So right now we have tried with you when everybody works on his own. That's why I have here 4 students. They have already started answering. You can see that in my option, I see the answers that they give. Just a second. For example, submit the answer. I can see who answered correctly, who answered incorrectly. You can try just to answer a few of the questions so you see how it works. Okay, so as a teacher, I can follow my students. I can see what topics they know, what topics they have problems with. And it's very convenient because all these reports, they will be saved. I will show you where you can find them. And you can actually afterwards have a look at everything that they answered and whether they, what topics we need to refresh, to recall, what topics we need to pay attention to. So that is very convenient. You can see that in this case, unlike in Kahoot, they work on their own, and the good thing that they all have instant feedback every time when they answer the question. That's why let me stop sharing the screen for a second and pay your attention to some of the options that I really like. So first of all, you can see that I have my device, I have my questions, I don't have time limit, and I have work in my own pace, because in Kahoot you have to be really quick. In Socrative, it's up to you how fast you answer. So when you answer, you can submit the answer, and then you have instant feedback, whether your answer was correct or incorrect. And what is more, you have explanation why this answer was correct or incorrect. So you don't have to explain it open class one more time. And if the student answered correctly, he just checks, oh, okay, that was the correct answer. If the student answered incorrectly, he can read why the answer was incorrect. So that is a cool thing to use. Plus, when you tried to answer right now different questions, you have seen that we have 3 types of questions that we can create over there. It can be open question, where they have to type the word. It can be multiple choice, where they have to choose the correct option, and it can be true-false sentence, true-false option, where they have to choose whether the sentence was true or false. Right now, when you tried playing the game, we had over there world facts quiz, but you do realize that during the classes you will not create the world facts quiz, but you will create some grammar and vocabulary questions. And the cool thing again about Socrative is that it can be like a test at your class, but the digital test, and with all the results that will be in your report on your computer. So in this case, you just have to think what questions to create, because you have 3 different options of questions. You can create grammar, vocabulary, it's up to you. Fill in the gap, choose the correct option, true, false, it's correct, incorrect sentence, and so on and so forth. So that's why let me show you what we've got there so far. Share screen. So that is our game that we have tried to play. I can see that Katie has completed all of the questions already. She has got problems there and there. She had no problems with the number 4, 5, 6. I can actually open the question and I can see what the question was and what answers we had over there. Go back to result table. So I actually follow what students answer, and I have some kind of feedback, yes? As for all the charts that we have, I can click to the reports. You can see that over here I have all the games that I have done with my students. I can open any of the game. For example, let's open this one, get the report. Oh, here the chart. So I can see here the names. We had 3 teams, the answers. I can see again where they had problems. For example, number 7, they really have problem with this topic. I need to cover with this topic. For number 5, they have no problem with that. So that is the topic that I don't need to recall and refresh with them. So that's why you can use like actual not use, but with time, for example, you can see that that was 25th of September. You can have a look at the results, and you can adjust, for example, your revision according to the results of these tests. Guys, when you want to create a quiz, all you need to do is click quizzes. You can see here, add a quiz, create a new one, and then you will see add the name of the quiz. For example, you will have revision as an option, and you can see 3 types of the questions: multiple choice, true, false, short answer. You click over here, write the question, choose the correct option, whether it was true or false, and over here you already have explanation. So that is where you will explain why one of the options was correct. So I suppose that when you will be creating the quiz, you will figure out, you will again click everywhere, and you will see how it works and what we can actually do with all of these quizzes, okay? So Socrative Kahoot, the principle is almost the same. You have question, you have different options, but Kahoot, you can create only one type, which is multiple choice, and your students answer, and you have to give feedback, open class after each of the question, but it's very bright, vivid, and students love it. Socrative, you don't have timing, each of the students works in his own pace. You have instant feedback, the student can read why his answer was incorrect or why was it correct. You have all the results on your account, you can look through them, you can make different conclusions depending on the results that you got over there, okay? So with that with you, Quizlet, Kahoot, Socrative, different games that you can use with your students. Another game that I wanted to tell you about was Plickers. It's a little bit not tricky, but it works with my students as magic, and let me show you why. So for this activity, you will need actually to create an account at the website Plickers. I will show you to it right now. Plus, you will have to download to your mobile device application, which is also, surprise, surprise, called Plickers. So we have 2 options, that is Plickers on your account in computer, on your laptop, Plickers, which you've got on your phone. So let me show how it works. Students at this moment, they need nothing, okay? So right now you just need your mobile phone and your laptop. So I have already started sharing. Over here, you can see that I already have some questions, but let's imagine that I want to add there some questions. For example, what article do we use with the names of rivers? And over here, I want to use multiple choice question. I will have options the, and I will have option 0. I have only 3 options, that's why the first one I will just delete, I don't need this one. And I will have to choose which one is actually the correct one. Which article? We use article there. I will click it over here, and we have save. So we have created a new question. Over here, pay attention that you have got empty field, which is called questions queue. Guys, these are the questions that will actually appear on the screen, and the questions that your students will answer. So what you need to do is to choose what questions you will need, you want to discuss with your students, or what questions you want to add to the queue. All you need is to click here, add to the queue demo class. We can see that over here I already have some questions. That is one of the questions. So for each of the questions that you have there, you will need to add to the queue demo class and so on and so forth. So over here you will have all the questions that your students will answer. After this, we will go with you to live view. And if you click there right now, you can see that we have here nothing, but live view is ready. So I will stop for a second over here. So we remember we are right now at the live view. We project it to the whiteboard, and that is what your students see right now. What you do at that moment is the following. You go to your application. You can see that over here, you will have already demo class. And you already have all the questions that we added to the queue. All you need to do, for example, what article do we use with the names of the rivers, is to click to this question. It means that this question will appear on the screen. And let's see what our students see right now. So as soon as I click to the question, it appears in our live view. Remember, we saw nothing until I open the application in my phone. But right now we do see the question, and we have three options, D, A, and 0. So the question is the following: how your students actually answer the questions? Your students will answer the questions with the help of barcodes. So barcodes, these are cards that you will give to each of the student. So let me show how they, like what that actually is. Over here I have Plickers cards. So this is a part course. You can see that at one page you have 2 of them, so you print them and cut it 2. And if we look at the barcode, do I share my screen at the moment? Yes, I do. Cool. So if we look at the barcode, let's see what we have there. First of all, we have letters A, B, C, D. These are letters of the answer. Right now we don't have 4 options. Right now we have, remember, 3 options, which are A, B, O, C. So your students will choose from these 3 options. All they need to do is to show to you this barcode. At the top, there should be the letter of the answer. So if the answer is, the correct answer is B, at the top we will have B. If the correct answer is A, at the top we will have A. And if the correct answer is C, at the top will be C. All the students, they raise their cards with barcodes where you see, like when they have chosen what answer they think is correct. So what you do at that moment is the following. You remember that you have your mobile phone with the question, and at the bottom you have the button, you have a button which is scan. At this moment you will see the scanning screen, and pay attention, only the top part is the part which scans. So all you will need to do is to move your phone, and all the barcodes that your students will keep in their hands, you will see over here, and they will be scanned at once, and you will see the correct answers over there on the phone. After you scanned everybody, you don't have, by the way, to go to each of the student and show me your barcode scan. It can work from any distance, so you can stand in front of the class and just move your phone in front of you, and when you're ready you will just click done, and there you will see the results. All the results, they will be on your phone and they will be on the screen. So your students will see what was the correct answer and why this correct answer was. And you will be able to discuss with them why that was the correct answer. One thing that I wanted to tell you about barcodes is that it's a cool thing, because you can see that each barcode has a number, for example, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11. So it's kind of anonymous, because your students don't, like, nobody knows who answered incorrectly. You just have the numbers on the barcodes, but nobody knows what number their neighbors have got. So that is a cool thing, that if your students don't want to be ashamed if they don't know the answer. And over here you will see that in this field, you will see all the answers that your students have given. Plus, you will be able to click graph where we have ABC. And when the students answer, you will see here the amount of students who answered correctly or incorrectly. And then you will review the answer, like A was the correct one, B, C not correct. Let's discuss why, and so on and so forth. So I know that Plickers right now at that moment can be a little bit tricky to understand, because you need like account on laptop, you need device, you need some Plickers barcode cards, but that is a very fun thing to use. And if you're a little bit nervous of how it works with your students, first of all, at home, look through all the website, try to create the questions, try it together with your teachers in your class, in your teacher's room, give them the barcodes, try to answer the question, try to scan the answer, see it how it works. And your students, like why I said that this kind of a magic activity with my students, because they are really surprised to see how actually you can scan all the answers and all the answers are on the board. So the emotions and the feedback from your students will be amazing. That's why please do try it. The question that a lot of people ask me when I tell about the Plickers is where to get the cards, the barcodes for students. That is why let me show where you can get them. That is your Plickers account. Well, here we have cards. Here are the cards. All you need to do is click, it's for free, there are 40 cards, so it can be done with up to 40 students. That's why you will see everything that you need over here. One more time, library, these are our questions, reports, you can see how we answered the questions. Yes, like all of them are saved. You can look them through one more time if you need. For example, over here, you can see that the question was what. Let's imagine that here we have some grammar questions, 4 possible answers. I can see the guests, actually not exactly the students, but only the numbers. I can see who answered correctly, who answered incorrectly. I can see here the percentage and so on and so forth. So you can actually look through the history of answers, and again, you'll have some data for revision. Classes, that is when you create, right now we had with the demo class, but you can create different classes like elementary, upper, revision, up to you. Live view, that is what we need to work with students in the class. That is what you will project on the whiteboard on the screen. Guys, and over here, help. If you need help, you will look through the options that they give over there. So basically, that will be it about clickers. Very interesting. Students will like it. What I like doing with my students is I give them the clickers cards at the beginning of the semester when we tried for the first time. And they save these cards with them so that I don't have to print them every time before the class when I decide to use clickers. So each of them have got their own card, it's in their book. So every time when I want to use clickers in my class, all I do is tell them, okay guys, take your barcodes out. They take it out and we can do clickers. In this case, not always I do it as a revision. Personally, I prefer to do it as a concept checking for some of the topics because you can see that it gives you the amount, how many students answered correctly. So I can see whether all my students understood or only 70% understood the topic or only half of them, or I have a problem with my grammar presentation and only 25% of students got the idea. So clickers, as for me, I do like using them as a concept check-in. And in this case, all of my students have these barcodes in their books so that they can bring them with them to the class. And one more thing that I wanted to tell about clickers is that sometimes, you know, that technology is awesome, technology is good, but sometimes internet connection can be bad. And if you play Quizlet or Kahoot, it happens that your students lose internet connection and they have to rejoin the game. And at this moment, they get a little bit nervous. But as for the clickers, only teacher needs internet connection. Your students don't need any device. All they need is a barcode that they will show depending on what answer that is. So in this case, you eliminate the problem of bad internet connection or something like that. Okay? So as far as we have started talking about concept check, and there is one more website that I wanted to show you, which is called HyperSay. And let me show how you can use it. So clickers done, Socrative done. So right now we need HyperSay. So if you look over here, that is the HyperSay drive, and you can see that we have here for free and some of the options where we have to pay, but usually I use it for free. Yes, there are some disadvantages of using it for free, but let me show you how it works. So first of all, you will need to sign in. You can see that here you don't need to register, simply sign in, and I sign in with my email. Over here, I will enter my email in order to get the verification code. That's why, that is my email. And to my email, I will get the 6-digit key. That will be my verification code that I will enter, and that will be the code that will allow me to use actually HyperSay. Just a second, we will need a few minutes for it to get there. But while we are waiting for the code, a few words about HyperSay. HyperSay, that is application that you can use during your grammar presentation. And actually, sometimes during grammar presentation, we do have presentations, PPT, PowerPoint presentation that we show to our students. And in HyperSay, that is just, let's say, augmented option of how you can use presentation in your class, because you will still have the PowerPoint presentation, but you will add some interesting features to it. That's why, let's see, I hope I already got the code to my email, and let's see the way it works. Hypersay. Let's refresh it. Oh, yes. So here's our code. I get over there. I will just copy, hypersay, paste. My name is Tatiana. It's not my first time. That's why it knows me already. So you can see that here I can upload a PowerPoint presentation to get started. So all I need to do is to choose the presentation that I need together with my students. Let's imagine that I will need this presentation. I wish if only grand presentation. Wonderful. I will open this one. So first of all, of course, we need some time to upload the presentation. Don't think of purple hippos. By the way, you look nice today. I really enjoyed the sense of humor that guys who created this website have. You will see throughout the whole website that they have some little jokes, and it's like very pleasant. And it helps me when I have to wait for uploading. So 100% uploaded. Thank you very much. So what we can see over here is the following. First of all, here are all my slides from the PowerPoint presentation. So just regular PowerPoint presentation. Over here, I can see that I've got the sentences from the text that we have discussed with my students. And here I usually elicit from them the constructions that they have open class. But what if I have decided to elicit it not open class, but I want to make them think on their own, first of all. Over here, under the slide, you can see that we can add the question. So I want to ask my students to pay attention what the sentences talk about. Do they talk about the present, or do they talk about the past in this sentence? That's why I can enter here. Do people talk about the present or past, or the past? And I can save the question. Okay, then I want to find out with them in what constructions I actually used over there. You can see that I can add not only the question, but also quiz. That is why I want them to pay attention to the difference of the constructions. That's why I can write here, if we want to talk about regrets in the present, we need to use. And then I have different options: past simple, or past perfect, or would plus infinitive. Do I have would here? Somewhere I do have. He would pay more attention. So I will put it over here. Past simple, past perfect, and I have option would plus infinitive. And I save the question. And then I can go on creating more and more questions for this slide. So basically, I add here the questions that I usually ask for eliciting open class, but in this case, my students will work on their own. So what I need my students to do is the following. We remember the presentation. So right now, your students will need to use their mobile phones. They will need to go to the website, which is called, do you remember the way it's called? Hypersay. Let me show you one more time the name of the website so you can join us as well. So we have here hypersay.com. Hypersay.com. Just a second. Hypersay.com. And over here, when you get to the website, you will need a code. So right now I will start live session. You can see that here we have the code, which is QJBTD. Over there at the top, let me show you. At the top of your screen right now, when you get to the Hypersay, you can see that we have join session. So over here, you will need to add the code of the presentation that you work with right now at the class. So that's why let's see one more time what code we have. Here it is, QJBTD. And we click join. Go. So right now we can see that I have got 1, 2 participants and more, so all the students that I have. So over here, my students under this, they see the same slide, and under the slide they see the questions which they need to answer. So the first question, they will need to type the answer. So right now I will ask you to type anything. Right now we can type there some answers which can be correct. Okay, in the second option, you will have to choose the option which is correct. We have there, if we want to talk about regrets in the present, we need to use, and you choose the option that you think is correct. So first of all, I show the slide to my students. I give them some time to answer the questions under the slide. After this, I can check what my students actually answered in the following way. I will show results on the screen. So we can see that all of my students answered correctly, that we have both present and past. After these show results, I can see that all of my students noticed correctly that we use past simple to talk about regrets in the present. And so on and so forth. All of the question I can open and I can discuss with them open class. So you can see that basically you do the same concept checking, the same eliciting, but in this case it's very individual because all of the students, they can answer on their own. And after this you can go on to the next slide where you will have questions for the slide and where your students will need to answer the questions. So therefore, HyperSay is a cool application. I do enjoy using it during my grammar presentation as an eliciting device, eliciting thing, but a little warning or kind of life hack for you about the HyperSay. Sometimes I think there is some kind of a bug in some of the devices, and that's why when you need to type the answer, it not always works. Sometimes when you want to type the answer at some of the devices, they just can't type the answer. Something is wrong over there. But in this case, you see the multiple choice when, remember, you had to choose past simple or present perfect, past simple, past perfect, would. In this case, it works at all of the devices. That's why if you want to avoid the problem that somebody cannot type the answer, you don't add the questions. In this case, you will add only quizzes where they have just to click and choose the correct option. It will be a little bit easier for them. So that's just for you to keep in mind. During my practice, only a few students had a problem that they cannot type the answer because of some problems with the website. That's why, just to avoid this kind of problem, add more quizzes and then less questions under each of the slide. So that is one of the options, like HyperSay for grammar presentation. Try to add some extra features to your grammar presentation and try to elicit first, make them think, and then open class, discuss what you've got there. Okay? So we have discussed with you most of the applications that you might use. Another one which I think all the teachers find super useful, super interesting for them and especially for students. It's called Edpuzzle. That's why, guys, I will share my screen and I will try to tell you very fast what you can do in Edpuzzle and how you can work with that. So over here, HyperSay, thank you very much. Socrative, we don't need anymore. Up. Okay, so Edpuzzle, it's the website where you can work with videos. And the cool thing about this website is you can not only watch the video there, but you can also watch and do something while watching the video. So let me show how it works. For example, I click search, and at my class, together with my students, we discuss the topic, which is called inventions. That is level 4, unit 5, inventions. I click search. I can see here different videos connected with inventions, and I'm like, okay, which one do I need to use? I can say inventions best, so I can shorten my search. You can see that it looks for videos at different websites, Vimeo, which I personally love, YouTube, anything you want. You can even use Edpuzzle, and there you will have ready videos. But for example, I have decided to use this video where I have 10 best inventions for lazy people, and I will click use it. So that's what I have so far. First of all, the first thing that I can do, I can crop the video. Let's imagine that I don't want to start watching it from the first minute. I want them start watching the video somewhere over here. I will click play and stop. And I will move it up to this moment. It means that the video will stop not from the beginning, but over here. If I don't want them to watch the video till the end, I will also move it, for example, till minute number 3. So that is the part that I want to watch with my students. After this, the next thing that you can do is you can, like the one that I really enjoy, is that you can add questions to them that they will answer while watching the video. For example, they start watching the video, blah, blah, blah. They're watching about ice cream cone, what invention that is, and so on and so forth. They listen to the speaker and stop. Here, I want to ask them the question about the content of what they have seen. In this case, I will click to the question mark over here, and you can see that here appears the field where I can enter the question. Just a second, I will check, everything is good. So where they can enter the question, pay attention that we have different types of questions. It can be question, it can be the multiple choice, or it can be discussion. So you can basically choose what you want to write. My question that I want to ask my students, what inventions do they talk about? Or what inventions have you noticed? Or what invention would you like to have? So anything about the content of what they have just seen. After this, I will click save. I will click continue, and then we can move on watching. So while the video is progressing, I can add as many questions over here as I want. And what my students can do with this video. That's why I will just click here, save, finish. Here, just a second. I will just later. I don't need it right now. Let's look at my classes and my content. For example, that is my classes. Let's have, for example, upper class. That would be upper class, where we have with them 2 videos. The first video, I actually had the topic invention. Right now, I will click here, allow skipping, because we will be watching as a student, but I will allow skipping for us so that we don't have to watch it from the beginning till the end. And then I will click here, watch as a student, so you see how it works. So in this video, you can see that I've got for them a few questions that they will need to answer. When they start watching the video, they watch it without any problem, but then the video stops. And I have for them the question. Before you start watching, write definition for the following phrase. Use dictionary is necessary. Listen to the video here, next part of the video. I want them to pay attention to its words. I want them to know and to understand what this word means. That's why, again, before they answer, they have answered. Before they go on watching, they have to answer. Let's imagine that as a student, I answered something. I will submit, and I will continue watching. I go on watching the video. We will not watch it till the end right now, but I will skip somewhere up till this moment. And over here, we can see that the video stops in a few seconds. And the question is, describe the invention that you have just seen in the video. So in this part, they have watched about and listened about one of the inventions. I want to check what they understood from this video. So over here, they will type the answer, what they understood, what the invention that was. They submit, they continue watching. They continue watching. Again, I want them to pay attention to some words before the next part. That's why I write them over here. They need to use the dictionary, write the verse, and so on and so forth. So basically, they watch the video, but during the video, they complete some of the tasks. If they don't understand something, they can rewatch the part from the beginning and then move on to the next part. So that is what students do at home. What I can do as a teacher is the following. You can see that here I have the progress, which I can click over here. I see how many students have done. I can see only 2 students haven't watched the video. One of them is teacher, and that's me. The rest of them watched. I can click to the part that they have watched. I can see how many times they watched each of the part in order to see whether they had some problems or not. Plus, I can see the answers that they give. Here, I can see that the student was really lazy and she didn't answer any questions. Bad example. That's why let's move on to the next one, where I have Marina. We can see that the first part she has watched like 2 and 4 times. The rest of it was one of them. I can see what she has written for each of the question, what the hoverboard is, what birds they were, and so on and so forth. So basically, she completed all of the tasks. I can look through all the questions. I can click here, yes, correct, yes, correct. If the answer is incorrect, I can click here, add comment, and write what she needs to pay attention to. And if the answer will be correct later, I will click here, yes, correct. So basically, your students work on their own at home. I, as a teacher, can monitor their progress, can see what they have done at home, if they have done everything or they just entered some words. That's me. Sorry, that's me. That's why I can enter whatever I want. So students work in the way that they feel comfortable. So you over see here, you can see that the student didn't want to write the definition. That's why we just have the words. That is why. That is a wonderful application to improve your students' listening skill. And they can actually work with that at home. All you need to do is invite students to your classroom. You can see that here you have a code or you have a link. The students just follow the link, follow the code, and just a second. And they join the class and they watch the video and complete all of the tasks that they have over there for them. And as a teacher, I do love this application because I don't have to discuss all of the questions with them in the class later. I can just open the website on my mobile phone, or I can upload the application actually, and anytime I'm in a public transport, going to work or whatever, I can look through, skim through the answers, and I see who answered the question or not. And then I will just have a little feedback at the problems or at the problematic points that they have while watching the video. For students, it's a great application because they can watch and listen to it as many times as they need. If they need only one time, they watch and listen to it only once. If they need more, sometimes they watch it for more times. For example, I will show you the lower level that we had, that was the upper intermediate, but if I show you, for example, I will tell you about this one a little bit later. Oh, this one. Let me this one. I can see that in the lower levels, they need a little bit more to watch it a bit more times, like 3, 4, 5. Again, it's up to the student. Okay, you have noticed that in some of the videos, I can be there present as a teacher. In this case, guys, what I tried here is to create the flipped classroom where I explain the grammar in the video, and they watch the video at home and they answer the questions, and then when we get back to class, we can discuss everything, actually not discuss, but I can have the concept checking and the production stage. For the flipped classroom, it works in the following way, that during the class, we did with them everything up to the moment where they have to up to the moment of grammar presentation, basically. And I told them to watch the video of grammar presentation at home. In the video, while watching, they will have questions, and I think you can guess what kind of questions that will be. That these are going to be concept checking questions and eliciting questions that we usually ask during the class. And it's super easy to do using this website. That's why let me show you how you can do that. First of all, you can, the video that you will use with your students, you will need to get from the YouTube. That's why, first of all, you need to upload the video of you in YouTube and find it over here. You can actually put here a link and you will find the video. After this, you will actually use it, my classes, over here. And then if I watch it as a student, we will see how it works. So during the grammar presentation, I've got a few questions. First of all, of course, it wasn't just grammar presentation using the video, and they had the same information on their worksheets. That's why it's a little bit easier for them to follow me. And you can see that in the video, I actually tell them to use their worksheet and where they can find this information, where they can find the same sentences, and so on and so forth. That's why the topic that we discussed with them was will and won't. And the first question that I asked them in the video is, that in all of the sentences we talk about the future, but what forms we can find in these sentences to talk about the future. So the video stops, they see the question, what forms can we find in the sentences given. They can note them down, or they can just circle them, they can just circle them in their worksheets. That is basically the eliciting question that we ask our students during the class when we work with them. So you can do and create the same questions for the flipped classroom over here. And in the next part we will check what forms they have found. I will circle for them, I will explain them, and so on and so forth. So during the whole explanation, I included here the eliciting questions that we might have with them. And if we click over here up till the last question, actually that is the practice task that I wanted them to do. That's why I stopped the video. The practice task was in the book. Here they needed to type the answers. And in the next part, they will actually see the explanation for each of the sentences that we had over there, for each of the question that they might have. So that works really nice as a flipped classroom. I do like this idea of using Edpuzzle, and I'm trying to find the new ways how I can use it. Not only watching the videos at home, but also trying to not be so predictable. And in this case, try out the flipped classroom, which is like, I was truly fascinated with this idea. Okay. But not only I like making the videos of myself, I actually do hate making videos of myself, but I do enjoy when my students make the videos of themselves. And that is another thing that I wanted to share with you, that sometimes your students can make the video of them answering some of the questions. And in this case, it's a great opportunity for them to listen to themselves, to hear the way they speak, to pay attention to their mistakes, and so on and so forth. And one of the options how you can work with it, and which I will show you, is the following. You might have already heard of Google Classrooms, and I have started using it only this semester, but I already love all the functions that they have over there. That's why let me show what it is and how you can use it. So I started using it with my IELTS students. You can see that here is our Google Classroom. Guys, to get there, you will just need to Google Classroom, and then you will join using your regular email. So that is my Google Classroom with my students, where we have with them the following things. Every week we write with them demo tests, and over here I upload all the necessary information for their demo tests. Over here you can see the amount of students who have done or haven't done the task. And if I get to each of the demo tests, I can see here are all the answers, all the things that they have done. If I click over here, I can see that here, for example, I have 3 attachments. Here's the writing that the student has done, and here's the speaking part that they have recorded. So as far as during the IELTS, they have a lot of speaking, not a lot of speaking, but they have to pass the speaking part. I actually make them to record themselves and listen to themselves how they answer the question. In this case, they upload it to the Google Classrooms. I create assignments where you can have a due date, and I can see all of the answers. Over here, I can write to them the commands, how they answered, like what band they will get, the explanation, if we have questions, and all the information they can see over here is actually private. Though sometimes they can leave not very private commands if I just send to them some tasks and or something interesting to listen to or to do. In this case, they just leave the comments about the task, and it's not private, it's a class comment. So that is one of the options that you can try with your students. I personally use it with my IELTS classes, but you can also use it with any class that you have. And it's a very cool one, because actually they can upload their answers, their videos to this website, and you can evaluate their answer. If you have a very friendly group, not always you have to upload it privately in Google Classroom, but if you have a very friendly group, you can create a chat with your students in any social network. It can be Viber, it can be Messenger, it can be Telegram, it can be anything you want. And in this case, I ask my students to make the video recording and send it to our chat so that everybody can see and listen to what you say. That is like extra motivated to your students, because in this case they want not just make a good video, they want to make a perfect video, because they will realize that not only a teacher watches the video, but also everybody in the group. It works only with friendly groups, but it's a wonderful tool to create this rapport between you and students. And in this case, all the students, they are very eager to make interesting video, to use some smart words in the video and something like that. So please try to be a little bit creative, especially with your chats if you do have them with your students. For example, once I had with my students so-called revision week, and what I asked them is in the we had a chat in Viber, and in Viber you can make recording of the voice, and I asked them during the week to record definitions of different words that we have learned with them. And students in our chat, they listened to the definition and they had to type the answer of what it is. As soon as we get the correct answer, the next student can upload the definition, and we try to guess what word it is, and it goes on, goes on, goes on. That was the whole revision week, when during the week we made recordings and we tried to guess the words and so on and so forth. But you might ask me if all of the students participate in that. Of course, not all of them, but those who need it and those who want, they will participate. From you as a teacher, the only thing that you need to do, you have to be a trigger. You need to trigger the conversation, and you need to be the first one who makes the recording and sends it to the chat so that they can guess what word it is. After the triggering is done, they start one by one creating the definitions. They want to create the difficult ones, and at the end of the week you can have the prize for the best definition or for the hardest word, so that they also can be rewarded at the end of the revision week, or at the end of all this activity. So basically, again, be imaginative with that. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you about, I like not only make recording of myself or recording of my students, I realized that I can use technology or digital tool also for kind of saving time, actually. And the thing that I tried is making feedback on writing using technology. So what I did is the following. At class, my students, as usual, did writing, completed the writing, and they gave to me the verbs. What I asked them to do is the following. I told them that it was Wednesday, so the next class that we have is on Monday. I told them that on Friday, I will send to them the link to the video where I will pay attention to some of the mistakes from their writing. Plus, they had a worksheet with the mistakes. The worksheet I also created by Friday and uploaded to their Damashq Online, or you can send it to their emails or chats. It's up to you as a teacher. So by Friday, I checked their mistakes. And of course, it's very difficult to send the video to everybody with only his mistakes. That's why we do it the way we usually do. We create a file with common mistakes. And by Friday, I corrected the mistakes. I have chosen the most common mistakes, and I made for them the video where I explain to them some of the mistakes. I don't correct them, but I just point to the mistake and give them a hint why the mistake is over there. But in this case, I don't make a video of myself. What I used is just a regular screen recording tool. Guys, it is possible that on your laptop you already have screen recording. But at my computer, I had screen recording without audio. That's why I just downloaded the first screen recording in Google, which was audio plus video, so that I make recording of my screen, but I can also talk and make a recording of myself talking. So I made a recording of me explaining to them the mistakes, and I actually uploaded it to YouTube. Just a second, I will show you where it was. Just a second. We have here my channel. And you can see that over here I have two parts of this feedback where I actually have all of their sentences. You can see that here we have sentences without any correction. I explain to them why some of the sentences were incorrect, and I just highlight the part where the correction was. So all they need to do is just to watch, listen, follow me, and oh, I'm sorry, I don't show it to you. My bad, just a second, share the screen. So we are back to the video. So in YouTube, I upload the video. Over here you can see part 1 writing feedback, part 2 writing feedback. We can see 14 views. These are 14 students who watched my feedback on their writing. So when they start playing, you can see that all of the mistakes here, they are not corrected. And what I do is, while video, I highlight for them the mistake that they have, and I give them a hint why that mistake is not, why they have mistake over there. They have to watch at home, and while watching the video, try and correct mistakes using the hints that I give them in the video. So the next class, when we got back to the class, the writing feedback, they have already corrected all the mistakes. So what I needed to do is just show them the correct answer. Before I show the correct answer, I can ask them to compare the mistakes that they have corrected and how the way they corrected the mistakes. And I save a large amount of time on correcting all these mistakes in the class and discussing why. They have already done it at home. They get back to the class. They have already corrected the mistakes. They have heard the hints why, and they just check whether they got it correctly or not. And I usually monitor, listen, and help them. And basically, after this, you give them the writings, and they can check it on, look through that on their own. And in writing, I also don't correct the mistakes that they have corrected. I just underline, and now they can correct it on their own. They understand why they have this mistake. They have already thought about it at home, and so on and so forth. So basically, guys, all the technologies that we can use them. And the only thing is, you need to be a little bit creative, imaginative, and think in what way you can use these technologies. If you have any questions or any problems, you can contact me directly via my email or mobile phone or Viber, whatever it is. I will try to help you with all the applications and things that we have discussed today during the webinar. And at the end of the webinar, I wanted to pay attention one more time. Please, technology is a good thing, and it saves a lot of time. It gives us new opportunities. It's a wonderful tool for a teacher to use, but don't overwhelm. Try to use one type of technology at one class. Don't try to use everything at one class. Save it for the whole semester, and during the semester, surprise the students sometimes with some new technologies and some new activities and some new things. Guys, I hope you got everything. I hope you have got right now new ideas and new inspiration to try out some novel things, maybe to try out some application or whatever it is, to spice up your class a little bit. And if you have any questions, you can direct me, or you can contact me, or you can ask your senior teachers to help you a little bit, or the girls from the methodological department. Thank you very much. Have good classes, and see you. Bye.